your girl, Erica Wilson, the host of It Had to Happen show. You knew that you had to turn to God because He's the only one that could get you out.
Such a blessing to be able to sit with you, son.
You know, like in the isolation, sometimes we feel lonely or not being able to fit in, or this person is not going to bother with me or whatever. But that is the time when God says, "Be still."
Right.
And know that I am God. There you go. Thank you, Jesus.
I'm a single mom with 2 kids, struggling, rape victim, homeless, robbed at gunpoint. All those things had to happen to me to birth me for my purpose today. And that's why I'm standing here today giving back.
Welcome our host, Erica Wilson.
Great day, everyone. We're here live today with your girl, Erica Wilson, at It Had to Happen for our Mother's Day special. I'm going to be introducing you to my co-host, Miss Satara J from Get in the Game. Bring Miss Satara J on. Welcome, Queen. The floor is yours.
Hey, thank you for having me, Miss Erica Wilson. So happy to be here with you all today for an amazing show. We're going to have a great time. I'm excited because I'm going to get to do what I love most, and that is ask questions of the women behind the men who don the helmets that our viewers love to support. And so It Had to Happen NFL Mom Show. Welcome. Let's bring on our guests and we'll introduce them one by one. Let's see all their shining faces. First of all, happy Mother's Day, ladies. Erica, happy Mother's Day to you. Miss Sandra Perryman, happy Mother's Day to you. And Miss Melissa Berry, happy Mother's Day to you. How are you, ladies?
I'm well. I am awesome.
Very well, thank you.
Awesome. And so, listen, I could introduce you, but I think it's best when you all introduce yourselves because I know who you are, but I want the audience to get to know you a little bit more. So let's do this, something fun, because I like doing like icebreaker type things. So we'll start with you, Miss Sandra. Tell everybody 3 things, okay? We want to know your name, who you happen to be the mother of, and what your favorite destination vacation is.
Ooh.
Okay. My name is Sandra Bowie Perryman. I'm the mother of Denzel Perryman, and my destination vacation would be Dubai.
Ooh, I like Dubai. We may need to do an It Had to Happen show from Dubai, Erica.
Maybe. It
That
sounds
would be
good.
nice. All right, Miss Melissa, you're up next. Your name, who you're the mother of, and your favorite destination vacation.
Hello. I'm Melissa Bailey Berry. I'm the mother of Damian Berry, and my destination place would be the Maldives.
Ooh.
Wow. I want to
Yeah.
go there too. I think it's time we all jet set. or wink wink to the sons of these moms who are listening. They're telling you what their next Mother's Day gift needs to be. All right, Erica, finally you, the CEO of It Had to Happen, your name, who you're the mother of, and your destination vacation.
Hi, I'm Erica Wilson. I'm the mother of Alan Hearns, and my destination will be Bora Bora.
Ooh,
Yes.
nice place. Nice. All right, ladies, let's dive right into it. I think you all are familiar with me and the way I like to ask questions. So we're going to get personal, juicy, and saucy all at the same time and let people know who you are as moms and
Mhm.
give a little insight and back end look at what it's like to be a football mom, right? Because you were a football mom before you became an NFL mom. So let's talk about this. What has been the hardest thing for you about balancing being a fan of the sport and also the mom of a professional athlete who plays the sport? We'll start
Mm.
with you, Melissa.
Um, I couldn't hear the question because I was in a bad area. So could you repeat it, please?
Absolutely. So
I'm
my
traveling.
question was for you personally, what has been or was the hardest part about balancing being a fan of the sport and then also being a mom of someone who plays the sport?
I'm not
Sandra,
sure
you
she.
want to go ahead and answer the question?
I would
We'll come
say,
back to
Yeah,
you.
because I thought that was frozen for a minute.
Go ahead, Miss Sandra. You want to answer it?
I would say, oh, it's not a difficult question, but time management. It'll be time. Wait, Chantel. Say it again one more time.
The tell us about how you balance being a fan of the sport because you all knew about football beforehand
Yeah,
and
mhm.
probably appreciated the sport and was a fan of the sport, but then you became a mom of the sport, right? An athlete that went from little league to high school to college ball and then on to the pros. So how are you able to balance being both still loving the game,
Yeah.
regardless of what it may do to your loved one, but also being the mom of a young man who's in the sport as well?
It's like you say, you have to balance, but for me it'll be time because he's out on the West Coast and I'm on the East Coast. It's hard for me to support him physically, but I'm there to support him, emotionally and in distance. But for me, it's just been the same. I would love to be there with him on the West Coast, but um it's the same for me. I don't think nothing really changed.
Gotcha. Good. What about you, Erica?
I would say time management as well because during the time when Alan was playing, he had an older brother that was playing as well. So trying to get the both of them, being a single parent and trying to get the both of them and get to both of their games, just spent more time on the field. I mean, out at the field more than anything. So I would say time management.
Okay. And what about you, Melissa? Did you hear the question or you need me to repeat it?
Yes, yes, I heard it.
Okay.
I would concur with both um, Erica and Sandra. It is time because I have two other kids and they were also very active in athletics as well. So just being, trying to divide time between my youngest son's football games or basketball games and they're in one city and Damien's in another city, and just trying to create some kind of balance where I could see all three of them. And my daughter played basketball, so it was kind of hard to kind of maneuver, the time, because it's only one me. So, it's kind of hard to be there. But I called on family members and said, hey, could you go here? Could you do this? I need to be here. So, that worked out as well for me.
So with that being said, you guys all brought up time management. Can you speak to, as a mom, one of the things we do greatest, I think, is nurturing and supporting. But can you talk about how important it was and still is to have a good support system around you when you aren't able to go and do as you would like?
Oh wow.
I mean, that is really a good question, Satara, because even during the times, for instance, you still want to be that mom, you want to be that support system. But what happens, like Sandra said, if she's far away and God forbid one of our kids get an injury, that is the worst feeling in the world, right? So to have someone there physically with them, to support them and be able to see what's going on so we could get the word from them instead of waiting to hear the word from someone else. You see your child go down and you just don't know. That happened to me one time. You see your child go down and you just don't know what happened, even though you get a phone call and say, okay, I'll let you know, but you want to know right now. What do you ladies say, Satara? Melissa and Sandra, to that?
I agree. I think it's good to have a support system. When you're not able to be physically there, like you said, as moms, we're always, protective of our kids, regardless of what age they are. So if anything happens and you're not there, the first thing that pops up in your mind is that it's the worst, and it may not be the worst. So I think having a good support system is very good and important.
I agree. Support system for me is awesome, because I can remember when Miami played at Pittsburgh, and I had a cousin that lived up there, and I couldn't make the game, so I called him. I was like, hey, he's going to get you some tickets to come to the game. So just in case anything happened, we tried to make sure we had, somebody in every city that could potentially go and, support us when we couldn't be there. So, support, the old saying is it takes a village to raise a child. Right. So my village is real strong. I try to keep it strong, be it in a different state, we might go to a different country. We know a couple of people in a different country too that we make a call, when somebody's over there that may need some help. So you never know.
That's good. Okay, so let's stay on this topic of support system, because I'm sure you all have experienced this. And so I want to know and give the listeners and viewers a chance to understand how you dealt with this. So sometimes your support system can be genuine, and sometimes your support system cannot be so genuine. So how did you all deal with what we know to be true? We kind of experienced it in our family a little bit, but now your son goes pro, or even in the college circuit, University of Miami, as all, three of you and myself included have in common, they all went to a top school, a very well-known school that breeds culture, especially when it comes to football. So what do you do when that support system kind of pops up out of nowhere and now they want tickets to game, and can you sign some footballs, and yo, cuz, let me get a jersey? How do you deal with the genuine support system, but then kind of having a conversation with people about the insensitive and not so genuine support system? Melissa, you can go first because you chuckle.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think we all chuckle.
Because you all have that in common, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. The thing was that was so interesting. And, me, I think I'm more the one that would say no. And he was like, oh, Mom, well, this call, and they said they want tickets. They said, no. Where have they been from Pee-wee up until now? There to support. If they weren't there, all of a sudden now you at Miami, they need need tickets. Oh no, tell them to call your mommy. No. We're not going that route. We're gonna keep this same faithful few that's been there through the good, the bad, the ugly, that knows the ins and outs of it. No, we can't do it. I'm sorry.
All right, so we got one no, we got a no and a sorry.
Sorry,
Miss
not
Sandra,
sorry.
what about you?
I'm laughing because it's true. What Sister Melissa said is very true. But for me, I'm the person that'll try to make things happen. But my husband will be like, no, they won't ever be beginning. So no.
Okay, so we got a no, a sorry, a try to, and a no from the husband.
Flat out no.
Which obviously that is also another good support system and kind of fencing and guard of protection that you had, because you probably had the soft heart and wanted to make it work for everyone, and he's like, nah, baby, we ain't doing it. They can buy their own tickets.
Exactly.
All right, what about you, Erica?
Ooh, okay. I'm the one that probably would try to make it happen too, but Alan is no, just no, straight up no. Because I guess he understands. Just question, okay. Well, yeah. My thing is, even though, Melissa, if they have been there through Little League and everything like that, you're still not entitled to anything that they have.
Oh,
but
no,
I get what you're saying.
Oh, no.
Right. No, I understand exactly what you're saying, but I just had to throw that out there. But
and that is so true, because at the end of the day, like you said, not obligated. He's not obligated. We're not obligated. And my conversation has always been your brother, your parents. And anything outside that, we try to keep our circle as small as possible. But it's time where somebody he grew up with, they want to come to a game. But for the most part, because my husband kids.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but I understand too exactly what you're saying. But what I was saying is, because some people feel like, I was there with you all the way, so I should get, and no, that's not true. I'm his mother, and if he decided to do something for me, then so more it be. However, during those times, you want to make sure if I could bring everybody who acts to the game, I think I would, but it's not that, it's very unfortunate that we can't, because the tickets are not free. And that was one of the things that we had to come up about, tickets being free. So, and not just that, but is it genuine? You just never know, because people could pretend so well. So you just don't know. You don't know. But I'm the one that probably would try to make it happen. Alan, no, straight up. That's why they probably come to me.
They come to the mom with the soft heart who wants to make it work for everybody. Yeah. Okay, let's transition. I'm sorry, was someone saying something?
I know.
Okay, you're good. All right, let's transition, because support is a big thing we want to talk about. And so I want to ask you, ladies, because you've all dealt with it and seen it and experienced. What do you do when there's injuries, benchings, backup roles, new coaches, contract negotiations, trades, cuts, all of this stuff going on, the many changes of the NFL? I used to like to tell people, it really doesn't hit home until the sport comes and sits in your living room and tries to have dinner with you and your family. You don't really know how aggressive it can be until it deals with your family. How did you all, and how do you still deal with those things and keep things into context when it comes to your sons and the sport in general?
What are you starting with?
Sandra.
I pray and I try to be there for him emotionally, because I think it affects them more than it affects us. So the reaction that they give from what they're going through, it hurts us as well. So I just try to, keep them encouraged, keep them positive, and just pray. And sometimes things that happen to you are supposed to happen so that you can get to something better. So that's what I try to tell them. Don't think that everything that happens is always a bad thing, because it can actually turn out to benefit, to be a good situation for you. But you just have to stay positive and know that God gave you that talent and that he's going to use you where you're supposed to be used.
That's good. I'm gonna come back to that, Miss Sandra. So remember, you said that in a good way, though, because you brought up something good. But Erica, you want to go ahead and answer that question? How you dealt with, and we know that Alan has had some challenges during his career with injuries, and you've been there the whole time supporting him. So how did you deal with that part of the game?
It was nobody but God. That's all I could do, and call on the name of Jesus. Because, as a mother, as a parent, you see a child go down and there's nothing that you can do. So I couldn't do anything but pray, even in the times of the trading and him, still dealing with the injury now, only thing you can do is pray and keep the faith, because again, like Sandra said, God has given him a gift, man didn't give him gift. God gave him that gift. So God's going to make sure that he utilizes Alan the way that he wants to. So whatever situation that he may have Alan in, Alan is going to excel in whatever he do. So mentally, like she said, being there for them mentally and spiritually is the number one thing for me. So definitely pray and keep the faith.
Awesome. Miss Melissa, how did you deal with it with Damien? I don't know if she can hear us. Miss Perryman, your son says, "Hey, mama." Yes, we can hear you now, Miss Melissa.
Some prayer, I can agree totally with my sissies on that. It was definitely a lot of prayer, because I know when he got injured his second year at with the Ravens, he was in St. Louis and I was in Florida, and it was such a hard thing because I didn't know what was going on. So I had to kind of talk to him on the phone as he was in the ambulance going to the hospital, kind of trying to encourage him to say, look, you know what, everything happens for a reason. We're gonna see how this pans out, and we'll go from there. Because it was a really serious injury, and at the end of the day, he still wanted to play, but as a mother, I'm saying I don't think you should continue to, because it was a neck injury. Wow. And so I don't think, I said, you have girls, you can still walk, you're getting out of here, you can walk. He had a concussion on top of that, and he lost feeling in his right side for like maybe 3 days. And he stayed at the facility the entire night. They didn't want to fly him back with the team. They wanted him to stay in St. Louis. And as a mother, those things, they hurt. Think about it, I get teary-eyed because it's such a dangerous sport, but they love it. And so that's why we have to pray as much as we do, that God continues to keep them and cover them throughout the entire thing. Because we've all seen where players get injured and they don't come back from those injuries. They don't recover. Right. And so, that was my spiel to him after everything went well. Everything, he came out, the feeling came back and everything. And I said, hey, you have girls, and I don't think you should pursue it. Just pray about it. Let's move from there.
Yeah. And so that's good. Thank you for sharing that. And I know for you ladies that some of these questions can be vulnerable, but it's good because I think it shows the audience and people who will go back and view this that everyone sees the glamour of football and the money and the going to games, but it's the behind the scenes things and the hard pivotal moments and the hard conversations that you all have had to have with your sons that people don't understand comes with the sport. And so with injuries being one of those things and contract negotiations and all of the many changes of the NFL, my question to each of you three would be, and I'm sure your sons will probably say something different, but I'm with you guys today, so only what you say matters. In your opinion, as a mom, what do you think, or would you say was the most pivotal point of turn or shifting in your son's career? Why was it pivotal, excuse me. And how did you help him navigate that time of his life? We'll start with Erica.
Of course. But Satara, after this question, I want to address, we have a good comment in this section that we should address. But however, I think mine was when he took off the year his son was about to be born. And when he called me and he was telling me, you know, Mom, I heard it in his voice when he first called me anyway. And he told me, he was like, you know, I'm thinking about, you know, opting out this year due to COVID. And I'm like, okay, that's a no-brainer. We could play football again, but we can't get another youth. So that's a no-brainer. So that right there, I just think that, I don't know what he was looking for from me, but he should have knew that I had his back on that. A grandbaby, and you need to protect yourself and your home. So that's a no-brainer, definitely. Okay, let's do this all day. Opt out.
Hey, you watching it?
Okay, Miss Sandra, Denzel said, "Don't do it, Mama." So I don't know if he's talking about answering the question.
I don't know what he's
Denzel, can you be a little bit more clear before she answers? We don't know what you don't want your mama to do. So while we're waiting for you to respond, Miss Melissa, do you want to answer that question as far as in your
question? I got kicked out.
Okay, I'm going to repeat it. So what do you feel, in your opinion, was a pivotal moment in Damien's career, or a shift that took place that kind of changed everything? Why do you think it was pivotal, and what did you do to support him in the decision, or whatever it may have been?
Well, like I stated, when he received that injury, the neck injury, that was a pivotal moment. And for him to decide that he was gonna, after he was released by the Ravens after the Super Bowl, he decided that, you know, he wasn't gonna try to pursue it anymore. And and I was happy of that.
Okay, awesome. Miss Perryman, it's on you. I don't know if we need to shift to the next question. Denzel hasn't responded. Yeah, I don't know what he's saying not to do.
I don't know, but I mean the one thing that
he said he's just nervous about which moment you may share because he's had a few. Well, Denzel, next time you can come on the show and share, but I'm gonna let your mama share today. Okay, thank you.
It's just that I think when he was, you know, having injuries, some of his injuries that caused him not to play were non-contact injuries. So I think that put him in a different mindset, and he got discouraged at some point. So I was just trying to, you know, encourage him. But then he got back on track, and then came back full effect in full swing. But I think when he have those injuries and they're not, you know, contact, they're non-contact, I think it bothers him.
Gotcha. All right, we'll see if we get a smiley face or a thumbs up from him in the comments. And that was okay. He's like, listen, Denzel, don't forget, I'm like family, so I'm not going to do anything to tarnish anyone's character. I'm not that kind of interviewer or reporter. Okay, y'all are safe with Cece. Okay. So moving on, one thing I want to find out from you guys, it is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I know you all have discussed on a previous show just mental health, but my question to you, Miss Melissa, I'm sure you'll have a great comment on this, but do parents, have either three of you ever had a moment mentally where something was going on with your son in the sport and you kind of had to get your emotions under control and it affected you in a way that kind of surprised you and you weren't expecting while you were trying to support them? And how did you deal with that? Nobody wants to go? Who? Anybody? Take it. Who you go? Go ahead, Miss Sandra. Denzel says, "I love you, Mama," so that means you did good.
I love you too. I would say again, I would say his injuries, and I'm sorry I have to just keep saying it, and I shouldn't apologize, but pray.
Yeah.
I come from a praying family, so we pray. We pray through a lot of situations, and the thing is, if you're going to pray about it and you trust God to fix it, then you can't worry about it.
Got it. That's good.
Oh
No, don't be sorry for saying
no,
that because we
that's what I'm
all
saying.
agree.
Yeah, I just pray.
Yeah. What about you, Erica?
I would say this year when Alan felt the physical, right? And I'm telling him, I'm like, okay, so just go ahead and retire. You know, you have another baby, you have 2 kids now, you played the game, you mastered the game. So here it is now. Just go ahead and just live the life with your children. You know, but you can't tell somebody that love the game that, you know. However, it kind of like put me in a funk for a little minute because I just kept saying to myself, why won't he just go ahead and just, you know, retire and just put time into the kids? But he do that anyway. He's such a great father, and that's one of the things that I admire about him, being a great father. So I will say that.
Nice. Thank you for sharing. What about you, Miss Melissa?
Once again, like my sister said, Sandra, it's the injury, and my husband and I know nothing more than to pray, you know, when things come up. But as a mother, when your child goes through those injuries, and some of them can be potentially very dangerous, as a mother, my emotions take effect first. I have a little pity party and cry, and then God says, okay, now you did that long enough, get yourself together and do what you know to do, which is pray. So, I don't let him see me have those vulnerable moments, but, there are times when I've had them, but by the time I, speak with him again, everything's fine. I'm good. My head space is at a different I'm in a different place by then. And so I can, emotionally be there to support him as he needs it.
Awesome. So, ladies, one of the most inevitable things in life we know is change. And we know that it's a very small percentage of people that even go to college to play football, let alone then enter into the pros or some type of pro sector of football, whether it be here in the States in the NFL or, we have so many leagues these days. So my question to you would be, when that inevitable moment comes, and, I've talked to a lot of players who played and then retired, they all have that what now moment. Like I think as athletes, they have this complex, this superhero complex where they can just go on and on and on forever and it's never going to end. But we know that things come to an end, right? And change is inevitable. So do you all feel that you have had that time to kind of determine, okay, what now? What happens when this is over? What do you do as a mom? Because you've been there with them through the beginning. So have you all had time to process? I know, Melissa, you've been there, but you can share how you got to it and got through it. But for Sandra and Erica, have you had the thought about, when this is all over, then what's next for me as a mom? Because you've been on this journey with them for so long. How do you allow it all to come to an end?
Well, I can say for me, I was a mom before the NFL, so I can go on. I was Erica Wilson before I became a mother to Alan Hearns before God launched him to me. So I could just bounce, and go on and just enjoy my grandbabies. I'm getting ready to have another one, so I could just go on. And then I have an older son too, so which is Daryl. And once I lay my eyes on my children, football, yeah, it's there, but I don't think it really hit us like that. We just as a whole, as a family, just enjoy each other, just love one another. Yeah, I love the sport, and I'm quite sure he do too. But there's life after football, like you said. So we just pick up the pieces and keep it, keep putting our best foot forward.
Absolutely. What about you, Miss Sandra?
And I agree. I was who I am before he got into this position. So I'll just continue to, to be me and continue to work toward my business that I'm trying to pursue and just be there for him because we're actually in conversation now of what is life going to be like for him after football. So for me, it's not really about me. It's about him. What are his plans and what does he have, lined up after the NFL? But I'm just going to continue to be me and whatever decision that he decides to make, I'm just going to be there to support him.
Awesome. Miss Melissa, did you want to chime in on that?
Sure. I've been out, but guess what? As they said, I've always been Melissa Berry before I was Damien's mom. So now I get the luxury of enjoying planning trips for the grandbabies, spending time with the girls and the boys, and just being Gigi. So, and I'm loving it, and and continuing to grow our business. That's it. I'm having fun.
Awesome. Now for the fun part, right? So now you get to pour all of that energy, into the grandkids. And all of you have grandkids. So that's amazing. So let's talk about preparation. Because I think, again, a lot of times, parents who are raising kids that play sports, everybody thinks their son, their daughter is going to be the one to make it. But we know that that's not the case. What kind of advice would you give, or would you say there is advice you could give to even be prepared for something like this? How do you think over the years you kind of prepared yourself for it? Go ahead,
I would say, you have to make sure that it's something that the kid want to do, not that the parent want the kid to do. Because God forbid that kid go out there and play just because the parent wanted him or her to play, and they fail at the sport, that could put them in a bad place mentally, and even they could blame you for putting them in that position. So with me, I just wanted to make sure that that's something that they wanted to do, Dara and Alan, and when they did it, they just made sure they better bring me home some good grades because they wasn't touching no field if they brought a C home from school. So again, just making sure that it's something that kid want to do and not the parent wanting for the kid.
Awesome. That's good advice. You, Miss Sandra?
I'm more like CC Erica say, I'm more of an educator. So school for me was first and everything after that took place. But again, if that's something that they wanted to do, rather it been football, basketball, whatever that they wanted to do, I would be there to support them and just make sure that that was something that they wanted to do and not do it just because I wanted them to do it. But for me, it was education. His dad was the one that, was a bit stickler on football. Not that I don't love the sport. I love the sport, but for me, education came first. Education came first. And then everything else followed after.
And Mrs. Berry?
Ditto with the education first. If he wanted to go out and do whatever, work was first. No games during the weekends. You can play your games, but during the week, it's all you have to stay in the books. You have to be in the books, and it went for all three of them. He and his sister and brother, and we've seen countless times, especially in Pee Wee, where we see fathers live vicariously through their sons because they didn't get that opportunity. So now they want to, push their sons, and then it causes them to not like the sport. And so we tried hard. If he said one day he just woke up and didn't want to do it, yeah, okay, that's your choice. That's that's your choice. We didn't push him.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Because I was piggybacking, even so too, Satara, have you ever heard, and Sissy and both sissies, like even in Luli, like Sis just talked about, do you know there are people out there betting on those games? So the thing is too, with the kids, everybody deserves a chance. It's little league. Everybody deserves a chance to get on that field and play. So that's another thing we have to be able to talk our kids and keep our kids up. Because my oldest son's spirit was broke when he was a good quarterback in high school, you know. And you spoke about being benched. You know, they moved him up off of JV to varsity and then benched him. But he was an awesome quarterback. So that's one of the things too. You have to be able to, you know, mentally be there for your children, you know, and be able to let them know, like, it wasn't nothing that you did, you know, maybe just the people didn't see the good in you, but just know whatever it is God has for you is for you, point blank, period. So that's another thing that I kind of want to piggyback off of Melissa Berry, because that's big out there too.
Yeah. And not only that, the other thing that the three of you have in common is, you know, your children were pretty much raised and did football in Florida. And we know that Florida, Texas, states like that are huge. California in football, especially Pee-wee, Little League. And so, you know, there's so much competition and aggression. And, you know, it's like, even when they're 5, 6, 10, the parents are already ready to go to the NFL. And so there's so much competition and aggression that comes with that sport. And so, you know, just to be able to make it out of some of those scenes safely is good. Because nowadays, one of my nephews who lives down there, he plays, and now they're putting hits out on these kids, which is crazy to me. But yeah, I had an issue with my nephew having a hit on him, meaning just, you know, coaches and players from another team were set out to injure him. The word got back to my brother and sister-in-law, and you would never think you would hear something like that when you've got 11 and 12-year-olds playing, but that's in South Florida. So before any of y'all move from New York down to Florida, you may want to read that. Y'all ain't ready for all that. Were you going to say something, Miss Melissa?
No, I wasn't. No, I'm
okay.
I'll get me somebody about my babies.
I know that's right.
I'm gonna find out where
I was just going right there.
I'm going to your house, knocking on doors.
So you basically saying you're going to lay hands with a little bit of oil and a little bit of prayer and something else?
That's right.
I'm gonna give them the hands, and then I'm gonna pray for them afterwards.
Yeah, there you go.
But not just in Little League, ladies. Because I remember a couple of times Allen got hit, and I'm being honest. I just was calling around and like, okay, I need to talk to him. You know, I'm serious. I'm being honest. You know, as a mother, yes, I did that, and I can admit to yes, I did that. So, because I didn't think that the hit was a fair hit, but you know, hey, it is what it is. Go ahead, lady. I just had to throw that out there. It's not just Little League now.
It's true, Erica. The only thing you were missing was a daughter like me. Because my mom, I just told her to sit and be cute. It was the sister who was getting ready to run on the field. Because my thing with my mom was, we both can't get kicked out of the stadium.
Somebody had to bail you out.
Malcolm, I'll be the one to get extradited from the state. Let me handle it. And she did.
Yeah, she's gonna have to bail you out, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So we both couldn't go. Erica, before we address, I know there's a few comments you wanted to read. While we're looking over that, there's a video that we would like to play. So far, very talented producer, Miss Karen, will roll that video, and we'll be back to kind of wrap this thing up. Thank you, ladies.
Hey, everybody. Damian Barry here, Baltimore Ravens Super Bowl champ, University of Miami alumni, Glade Central Raider, Belle Glade, Florida alumni. It's not enough words on this earth or in this universe to tell you how much I love my mother. When I was playing football in Optimus out of Lake Lauder, she used to run up and down the sideline where I was on offensive D play, making plays, where I was making the plays. It was like she was making the play with me. There's no amount of love I can show or ever give back to show how much I really appreciate her. I can remember when I was in high school, all chaos breaking on me. Winning, losing, up, down, whatever. Any kind of play that I made, she would say, woo, woo, woo. Like, she had this distinct voice that I can hear no matter what's going on. I don't care if there can be bombs over Baghdad. I don't care what's going on. I can always hear her voice. That's the true definition of love. Like, a mother is she's the babysitter, she's the grandmother, she's everything that you need and more. I just want to say happy Mother's Day. I love you, Mom. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. And you know it's all about the youth. God bless.
Hey, Mom, happy Mother's Day. I just want to say I love you and I appreciate you. I wouldn't be who I am today or where I am today if it wasn't for you. I always appreciated your sacrifice and your commitment to raising me and my brother, doing the best that you could, just always showing strength, Me being a parent now, it really put things in a different perspective of, how much of a commitment and sacrifice it is, So I want to say, I truly appreciate you, and that's going to make me be a better father, Hopefully I can pass down some great qualities down to my kids, so they could be great parents as well, So I just want to say I love you, Ma, and I appreciate you, and I'll always be here for you. Love you.
Denzel Perryman here with the Las Vegas Raiders. Just want to wish my mom a very wonderful, happy Mother's Day. Mom, you are an amazing woman. You always been there for me. You mean the world to me. Whenever I needed something, whenever I just needed, somebody to listen to me, right or wrong, you was always there, like, most people, you tell me when I'm actually wrong, even though, half the time I feel like I'm right. But, I love you, Mom, and you mean much to me. I wish I could be there with you on Mother's Day, but I'm out here in Vegas. You're gonna be out here soon, Mommy, but I love you. Every day is Mother's Day because you are appreciated more than just in that one day. And just want to let you know, like, you mean the world to me. And the reason why you mean the world to me, because without you, I wouldn't be here. I love you. I hope you have a great day.
Yay! That was beautiful. I don't know if I like Denzel rubbing Vegas in our faces. Ladies, we're gonna have to take a trip to Vegas. That
Yeah.
background looked nice, but that's okay. We'll let him have it. Happy Mother's Day, ladies. Hopefully you enjoyed that presentation. Anything you'd like to say to your sons before I finish up and ask a few more questions before we get out of here?
I love you.
Love you, DJ.
Alan, I love you, and I'm proud of the man that you've become and the father that you are.
Aw, tissues, everyone. Oh my gosh. Listen, with that presentation, I gotta ask the question. Did you ladies know it would be this? Did you have any inclination that your sons would have the success they've had in the world of football? Did you know? And if you knew, how did you know? Miss Melissa, I'll start with you.
Okay, I'll say this. You know, as a woman of God, because my husband played at the U, I always said that Damien would go to the U. And every school pictures he had on the University of Miami, little outfits to take his school pictures in. And from that point, you know, Damien was a very big child, bigger than his friends on his teams. So he could never play 3 years in the Pee-wees. He always had to go 1 year. Next year he had to go to the juniors, and then he would play 1 year there, and then he was too big to play there anymore. So then he had to go to the seniors, and he was only in the 8th grade. So no, he was in the 6th grade. And so I was like, okay, God, this is going to be interesting. So Damien ended up in the 8th grade playing junior varsity. We had to hide him. That he could not take off his helmet. It was so illegal, but we did it. Yeah, we did it. And so, it was just crazy because he outgrew Pop Warner before, he was actually supposed to. So his dad was coaching at a high school, so we came up with the plan to put him on the JV team, and that's what we did. He scored 5 touchdowns. So I was like, okay, God, I see what you're doing. So we just had to try to keep him on the straight and narrow, to keep his eyes fixed and focused upon, first and foremost, God, and allow God to direct his path. And God did an awesome job, ordering his steps, placing him where he wanted him to be. Because had it not been for him, I don't know. I just give God all the glory because it all belongs to him. I can't take credit for it.
I'm not laughing at you. Denzel is showing out on this podcast. Yeah.
So we gonna let his mom go next. Miss Sandra, did you know?
Tell Denzel that I do that because I'm getting off at a preschool and I don't have on my best clothes.
I'm so ashamed. No, I didn't know. I didn't know, but my husband did.
Gotcha.
And my husband actually played football. He was a running back. So he
had a little slight inclination because of the husband. So that's good. Yeah. What about you, Erica? Did you know? Did you have any idea?
When I first started out, no, because he cried the first 2 weeks. But no, I knew that he loved the game. I just didn't know, how far the game would take him, So at first, no. But I always saw that he loved the sport and he knew the sport. So, yeah.
Good. All right. So a few quick, we're going to call these questions rapid fire. All right. So ladies, in no particular order, whoever wants to yell it out, your best Mother's Day gift from your sons.
My best Mother's Day gift?
I received a Range Rover.
That ain't bad. Getting a new whip. That's nice. All right, Erica.
I remember him furnishing my whole house.
Wow. Okay. And I've seen some of those pieces. So good job, Al. All right, Miss Sandra, what about you? Best Mother's Day gift. Denzel said him. Denzel.
He said me.
We gonna get this. Erica, you're gonna have to bring Denzel on the show all by himself so he can talk, tweet, text,
we're gonna write him,
make jokes.
We're gonna respond to his comments then.
There you go. I like it. Miss Sandra.
My car, a car, Jaguar F-Pace.
Ooh, that's nice too. Everybody got a win. All right. So let's go over some rapid fire. So I just have some really interesting questions. It's basically, we just went through the NFL draft where teams pick their players. So now I want you to pick. So I'm gonna call out something and you pick which you would prefer. Okay, y'all got it?
All right.
Got it.
Cool. All right. College or pros? Sandra.
Pros.
College.
Pros.
Erica.
College.
Miss Melissa said pros. All
Only
right.
because Super Bowl. That's it.
Okay. Would you prefer him having stayed on his first team, or are you okay with the switches that have happened? Miss Sandra.
I'm okay with the switch.
Erica.
I'm good.
Good. Melissa.
Well, Damian was only on one team, so I was fine with that.
Cool. I'm a Ravens fan too. Love me some John Harbaugh. All right. Next question. Now, you can't answer this based on the position your sons play. This is your personal preference. Denzel, don't be saying nothing after your offense or defense? Erica.
Offense all day.
Melissa.
Offense.
Sandra.
Defense.
I knew she was gonna say defense. Are you saying that because he's a linebacker?
No, because he played running back first and he didn't like being hit. And I
he didn't like being hit.
No.
Denzel, your mama calling you out now.
He'll tell you.
I'm with you, Miss Sandra. I like defense because now this is gonna sound bad, but ever since I was a little kid, it was something about the noise that was made. And it's bad. I know. But again, since I was a little kid, that noise, it just excited me. I felt like football didn't get started until I heard that noise. So I'm with you on that. All right. Band in college or cheerleaders in the pros? Melissa.
Cheerleaders in the pros.
Erica.
Cheerleaders in the pros.
Don't go against the grain. Band in college.
So, Miss Sandra, did you go to the HBCU?
Really?
Huh?
Did you go to the HBCU?
Yes, I did.
That's why, me too. We know about the band. See, they stuck on Miami. Miami had a horrible band. I think that's why they're choosing the cheerleaders. But you and I, Miss Sandra, know about that black band prize. So I got you on that one.
Okay, I can say band. Can I change mine?
No,
But
you
now
can't
that
change
you
it.
say that,
We're going to stick you with a whole bunch of Jaguar and University of Miami cheerleaders. That's what you get for Mother's Day. You can't change it. All right. Next question. East Coast game or West Coast game? Melissa.
I would say East Coast.
Erica.
I'll say East Coast as well.
Sandra.
East Coast, because I can get there.
Cool. All right. Here's a good one. Now you can't remember. You can't. It's just what comes to mind first or what you enjoy. You can't answer it based on your sons. Super Bowl or Pro Bowl? Erica.
Super Bowl.
Melissa.
Super Bowl.
Sandra.
Super Bowl.
Y'all don't like Hawaii. What's wrong with Hawaii?
Well, you know they're in Orlando now, right?
Huh?
They were in Las Vegas last time.
Yeah, but I just mean overall. Y'all not playing it. We gonna end this game because y'all not doing it. I don't like the way y'all answer these questions. Okay. Coming up on the end.
Right?
All right. So if you had a choice, car or house? Sandra.
Both.
You can't pick both.
Okay. Okay, I'll say house.
Erica.
House.
Melissa.
House.
All right, so the sons heard it. y'all, you get a house, you get a house, you get a house. We all get a house. All right, last one. Now this one's kind of tough. All right. No, I got 2 more questions actually, because I like my last one. I'm gonna keep it. Guaranteed money or full length of the contract? Melissa.
Guaranteed.
Sandra.
Guaranteed.
Erica.
Guaranteed.
All right, y'all are all on that one. Okay, last one. If you could have chosen another sport for your son to go professional in, other than football, what would it have been? Sandra.
Basketball or baseball?
Okay, Melissa.
Basketball or baseball?
Erica.
Basketball, I want baseball, yeah.
And I know why, because all y'all want the guaranteed money. We know that's the choice. Good job.
Less dangerous.
Less dangerous, and the money's guaranteed. I'm not mad at none of y'all, because if you're gonna play professional, you might as well get the money. I'm not mad. Ladies, it has been a pleasure. I have truly enjoyed this. Erica, I don't know if you want to close it out, but I want to say happy Mother's Day to each of you. The sacrifice you have made in raising successful Black men, and I pronounce and put emphasis on Black, because we know even in today's society, our Black men could be anywhere, but where you all led them to. So thank you for your sacrifice and for your contribution to our society with raising amazing Black men. Congratulations.
Thank you. Sissy, could you, does Denzel have something to do?
Obviously not. Not today. We're going to book Denzel on the next show. Not the next one.
You have to bring him on. You have to bring him on. Since he wanted to redo his video, he might as well just do a whole show, because this has been about him this last hour and 5 minutes. Denzel, before we go, is there anything you would like to leave the ladies with?
He said no. He's coming home.
He said bring him on.
No, he said bring him on.
Well, that's on y'all. Erica, we got anything before we close out?
Yes, just go ahead and shout out our audience, because you know we can't do this without them.
Absolutely. Listen, thank you guys for joining us. Mr. James Mack, Desmond Perryman. That's the relative of yours?
That's my husband.
Come on, husband. Thanks, Papa Perryman, for hopping on. Miss Cena Weena. Thank you, Taylor Hall, Karen. I'm going to purposely not thank Denzel. Vibe. Thank you, Vibe with Cassie. Thank you, Karen, Miss Johnny May Hearns, for always supporting us here on It Had to Happen. And I think I got everybody. Deshauna, thank you for joining us today. Miss Norma, Miss Karen. Thank you guys for your comments. And Denzel, golly, your name's like 50 times in the scrolling, and all I see is Denzel. I guess I just gave you a shout out by saying your name. Happy Mother's Day, ladies. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Denzel, for the Mother's Day wish.
Bye,
ladies. Mother's Day, ladies.
Bye. Thank you so much. Ladies, don't leave yet. Satara has to jump off really quick. However, we just want to go ahead. Thank you so much, co-host.
Thank you,
you coming
Satara.
back.
Love you, ladies, to life.
Amazing job.
Satara, really quick. Oh, she jumped off. Too quick. Okay, but like, I wanted to do a giveaway. That's why I had these items up here. Because I definitely want to do a giveaway, but I guess we could do that on another show, because we're a little over time. However, I just want to thank you, ladies, and say happy Mother's Day to you both. May your day be everything that you want it to be, and that God meant for it to be. Meet me back here on Monday, guys. Monday at 5:30. We've been soaring through 2022 with the Bishop Kenny Berry and the beautiful Satara J. Meet us back here at 5:30 and see what God is doing in our prayer broadcast. And shouts out to the First Lady. She's not only an NFL mom, she's the First Lady, Melissa Berry. Thank you for sharing.
My sissies.
You're welcome. Thank you for sharing your husband with us on Mondays to, bring forth the word. God is definitely doing a thing on that broadcast. So do meet me back here, God's willing, 5:30, we're on the topic of they said versus God said, and you don't want to miss it. I'm telling you. But we will be back before you guys on next Wednesday. We don't know how God may move in this broadcast, but we know that He will move in this broadcast. So, ladies, let's go ahead and send out the audience some love and some virtual hugs and some virtual love. And I'm soliciting your prayers, Bishop and First Lady. I'm going to have these teeth pulled on tomorrow.
Okay, you're finally going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So thank you in advance for it. Shouts out to our audience. Ladies, is there anything that you would like to leave with our audience on today?
Thank
Have
you.
an amazing week and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers, and just be blessed.
Yes, enjoy your Mother's Day, ladies. Happy Mother's Day. God bless you. Love you.
Amen. Carrie, can we play that video for our mothers? All of our mothers out there. Happy Mother's Day. Oh, that was a really nice video.
That's beautiful.
That was. So before we go, let's shout out our kids, all of our kids. So shout out to you, Darryl Inky Wilson, and you, Alan Hearn.
Shout out to Kine, Keon, and Damien. Love you guys.
Shout out to Desmond Jr., Denzel, Darius, Quintero, and Burgundy. I love you.
Woo-hoo. Until next time, God bless each and every one of you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Erica's Empowering Empire. 88 Blessings Soar Movement. It had to happen in a beauty so rare. We'd love for you to join us by subscribing to our YouTube channel. It had to happen with Erica Wilson. Following our social media.